right, everybody. Hope you're as excited for this as I am. Oh, I just totally touched my glasses. And I just cleaned them really good today, too. Crazy how fast glasses can get dirty, I tell you. All right. All right, everybody. Captain's log, stardate 101187 Mark 17. I don't know if that is actually the proper star date time, as the converter might not have been accurate. It always seems like they had more of a 4-digit number, but maybe I'm just wrong and maybe they changed it since the Star Trek Next Generation era. Either way, today we are setting course towards a resurgence of a sort. Don't actually know too much about the story besides that it looks super badass. And definitely right up my line. I believe we're playing the role of like a first officer. And I don't even know the name of the ship we're going to be on, but I'm so excited. Let's just set phasers to fun. And engage. We're only at 6 of like 40 countries. That is pretty bad. Necessity, you're right. I'm sorry. I really want to play this. If it's a constellation, like, it's probably not going to get a lot of viewership. But I'll enjoy it. This one's for me. This is a Dramatic Labs adventure. The relationships and events you're about to experience will shape things. I think it's saying that our relationships with the crew and our choices will shape the adventure. From Dramatic Labs. That's not the people that bought Telltale, is it? Is this just like a Telltale style game?
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless.
That's not as many digits as I had.
Months piecing our ship back together. We're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute.
Ah, the Resolute.
Yara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
She Bajoran? I like Bajorans. Oh. Ah. The pod's having a bit of trouble here. The weird configuration for a shuttle pod. All windows along the side like that and 6 passenger ship?
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Here's a tip. Don't close your eyes. You'd think that would make it easier, but it only makes it worse. Look out the window, pick a star, and just focus on that.
I'll give it a try.
Probably best to star forward. He's not having a good time of it.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer
Miranda
I knew
class?
she could become when she was a cadet at
Excelsior
Starfleet
class?
Academy,
I don't know what that at the top was, but it looked interesting enough, I guess. Oh, it's a steam runner. Okay. A little Nova. Oh, I love Novas. I didn't like them when they first came out, but they've grown on me since. They're cute. Okay, they're kind of a cute ship, but they're badass little ship. Oh, is that the Resolute there? I'm not sure what class it is. I didn't get a good look. Could very well be. Odd that it docks to a port and not a docking bay. Just you, or why'd he stay on the ship or on the shuttle? Check in at security. Okay, 1 second. I just gotta make sure. Okay, motion blur I already turned off. Okay, motion blur. Controls, here we go. Is there no way to invert aiming? It looks like we're going to play 2 different people, Jara and Carter. Ensign Calloway was grateful for Jara's helpful guidance when he was nervous on the shuttle. Okay, there's basic movement. Hold left trigger to leave cover and aim with the right stick. Right trigger fires. Stealth sections. Tricorders. Use X to equip and holster tricorder. Right trigger to scan objects. Use your phaser to remove obstacles in your path. Press Y to equip it and aim, then fire. Shuttle is right trigger forward, left trigger back, and then turn sticks, left stick strafe. Transponder. Clear debris and select targets to transport. Okay. Oh, transporter, not transponder. Okay. All right. Okay. Right stick aim. Clear. Use to clear out debris and select targets, both right trigger. Select waypoints to create a path through the ionic interference. The line connecting the points will lose stability if it passes through the interference. The yellow bar indicates the stability of your path. When full, you will succeed. Use right stick to aim and trigger to select. Okay. Balancing power levels. This is all about transporter? Lock the frequencies at just the right moment to give the transporter enough power. Right stick to move the cursor. Left trigger to lock it in place. The bar fills when your cursor is at a point when the distance between the waveforms is the greatest. Use the blue power bar on the bottom is added to when each yellow bar is locked. If the blue bar is full when you lock the third one, you will advance. If you do not have enough power when you lock the third bar, you'll need to try again. If you're having trouble, find a spot where the non-moving waveform is touching the edge. Wait for the moving waveform to touch the opposite edge. Okay. I mostly wanted to find a way to invert my right stick. Oh, says it is inverted. There it is. Okay, no, that's not inverted. Now it is. That's weird. I had to reset it. Welcome to Starbase 128.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Starfleet Operational Support Services. Check out that view. I wonder if this is supposed to be somewhere near the Briar Patch. It kind of has that look to it. Probably just some other nebula reminiscent of it.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
I kind of hate when things do, like, games and that do something like that. Like, oh, you've heard of the Kobayashi Maru. Well, this one makes that look like
Hold it there
pig's
for a few
feet.
seconds. Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground, so to speak.
The pleasure's mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to
I'll go
meet you.
easy on him.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Did you say there's something about like cobloid in her DNA? Something 50-some-odd% cobloid? It's kind of like a Telltale game. We play the part of whatever officer. It looks like there's going to be we're playing mostly Jara Rydek, the first officer, and Carter, somebody or other. Don't know who they are yet. We just started, but it basically plays like a Telltale game. We're going to basically play through a couple episodes of a episode or so of a Star Trek situation. Takes place after the Next Generation, but before Picard. It looks like it's while Riker's on the Titan. Ooh, there's the ship we're going to be on. Very long nacelles.
Good day, Commander.
Starbase? I was kind of hoping it would tell us the USS Resolute NCC 92317. Repairs in progress. It doesn't say the ship class, though. Oh, there will be combat. Have you ever seen a Star Trek episode that didn't have combat? Okay, I know they do happen, but there'll definitely be fighting with not only phasers, they'll be flying the ship, and a big war thing looks like it's going to happen. It looks really cool. I know I've seen that style of ship, but I can't remember the name of the class. The storm report. There's an ionic storm. Oh, there we can run. We got strategic applications, commander tech center, expedite initiatives, dynamic services, virtual rooms, deliver corridors, convergence doors, step portals, integrated desks, and streamline. What? I wonder what the portal thing is. Star Trek The Next Generation was something I fell in love with as a little kid. Like, I would have been, like, I think 4 when it came out. Or 5. I got so many memories as a little kid just watching it. Like, family night would be a bunch of us, like, mom, dad, and me. Sometimes my sister, watching it all together.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
Lets us know who we're looking for. Ooh, who's this over here? Lost crewman.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Only one on the
right.
screen.
Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
We're going to be his commander. Resolute's definitely not leaving space dock without us. It's going to drive me nuts that I don't know what kind of class it is. Anyone else we can talk to? These little interactions are kind of the fun of these kind of Telltale games. It's not actually a Telltale game, but...
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
Oh, you don't say.
Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
An Orion.
I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
us. Commander Irma.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was a bit bumpy, but otherwise okay.
My apologies. This storm is unlike anything I've seen before.
The entire species is descended from the Blue Man Group.
We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
So it's after Deep Space Nine altogether as well. Post-Dominion War.
The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a
Sure.
planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Trust is earned, and it sounds like I have my work cut out for me. But I plan on winning them over.
I don't doubt that. I just figured it was better to know what you're walking into.
Of course.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
How's the audio levels? According to OBS, it looks like it might be a little quiet. I guess this is the other guy we play as.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Plasma Thor. We got Plasma Thor, ODN recoupler, hyperspanner, interphasic coil spanner. All right. So we made a good first impression on the Commander Ermot, at least. Give me 1 second. That was with full volume. There we go. Just turning off a slight Usually I have the games running at like minus 3 dB. So I'm going to turn that off so everything will be a little bit louder. Mainly I want it for the dialogue, but... Alright. Probably going to vaporize this corrosion. Oh. Oops, if I turn it the right way. I was turning it clockwise, not counterclockwise. Oh, the spark plug's blown out. Okay. Just throw in a new spark plug, it'll be all good.
And that is that.
The lower decks. Nice little rubber. Riding up on top of a shuttlecraft has to be a safety thing.
I thought the thing was totally fried.
Hello, nerd.
Nice work, Carter.
Who doesn't like a good trill?
Nothing to it, Millie.
And not a moment too soon.
With a
The
quick,
boss
cute
wants
name,
us
too.
down in engineering. Like, now.
Follow Edislayer to engineering. Nearly Edislayer. One sec. I know we're supposed to be getting in there, but can't leave these just lying around. What?
Come on!
Oh. Oh, these are heavier than they look. Makes more sense than zero G. You're welcome. So clean I can see myself.
Carter Diaz!
And you know what? Not half bad.
Are we not going to put it back? I guess we can't put them back. Okay. Sorry. We can't run anymore.
Good to see her fully operational again. And if she breaks, we'll just
Master
fix her.
system display of the Resolute. I just want to know what class of ship the Resolute is. Junction 34B gives you access to use behind the characters. Not after the retrofit. Bulkhead cuts off at section 2. Odd that we're getting subtitles for voices I can't even hear.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
Hey, kitty.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovok.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar,
I hope so.
Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
So you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
Ouch. He did not like that.
I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes, Commander
Roger that.
Chovak.
The subtitles could
All
decide
hands
which
on
to display.
deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out, and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nilly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt.
Well, the old blood's still there.
Hold
Smeared
on.
onto the panels and everything.
Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
First threesome in Star Trek history? Not really interested in Miranda. Nilly's
Here,
pretty good,
let
though.
me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
It's not just the spots.
Good to go.
Okay, she's definitely flirting.
See you on the other side.
Activating
Not if I
magnetic
shoot you with a
souls.
phaser first. I don't think the Vulcan guy liked us very much. Found us to be cheeky and cavalier when he and Ed Solar were almost late in the engineering. You know what the key word of almost late is? Almost. It means we weren't late and you're just being an ass. Also, it sounds like we were at the end of our duty shift and he made us go outside and do a massive repair anyway. Miranda felt encouraged by Carter's warm reception when she first arrived aboard. There was holding out hope there might be some chemistry between. Told you she was flirting! So if things don't work out with Nellie, we got a backup. Nice shot of the Miranda class straight across as we came out.
Let's go.
Ooh, there's a steam runner. I'm not a big fan of that ship. I think the design is clunky at best. Of the ships that they introduced when they introduced that, the Steam Runner, the Nova, and the... No, it starts with an A.
Captain
My
Solano
favorite.
should be here momentarily.
It's going to drive me crazy. What is the name of it? Akira. There it is. Jeez. Akira class is my favorite from this era of ships. Right after the NX-01 Enterprise. That's my favorite of all the Star Trek ships. But of those ships that they introduced around that time, the Steam Runner is like the one I like the least. I didn't like the Steam Runner or the Nova at first, but the Nova at least has grown on me. Steam Runner has not. It looks as bad today as ever. Oh. I don't think it liked when I paused that game. Hopefully it'll just bring us right back to where we were. There we go. You can already see the choices. Dive deep into your choices. Scan QR code. What? All right. Continuing.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
The Koblead, she's not Bajoran. Never heard of Kobleads before. She looks Bajoran. Except for she doesn't have the religious earring going on. Can we get a look? Trying to get a look at her. I guess her nose doesn't have the as pronounced the ridges like the Bajorans. Starfleet Academy.
I can't believe he
Correct.
keeps this around. Don't even know where mine is.
Some geodes. Another geode.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered.
Ooh.
Always was the nostalgic type.
Comments on the globe, not the statue.
Can't wait to plot a course myself.
Been along, getting from there.
Just a sip of something.
Ractigino.
Decisions.
Klingon
Ractigino.
coffee.
That sure has a kick.
Surely she could have done like a deuterium infused Ractigino so she never has to worry about it. It's just in her food.
Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the Academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrit Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute.
Why do I feel like he's going to be a bad guy?
We couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
That would be totally unnecessary.
I think it's his
I
mustache.
don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I heard that you had an equipment malfunction.
Is that what they're calling it? No, that's just someone being generous. If anything, it was a leadership malfunction. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there. Within our grasp.
Why do I feel like he's going to push too far to make up for it?
Wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship could handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account.
Punch.
Once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified.
Glorified taxi?
This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
So basically, we're being sent into the eye of a storm, more powerful than anything on record.
Well, yes. But we're taking every precaution.
Like with the warp core
But I
test?
don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Post-Dominion War, we probably have more crew than ships going around, but they also lost a lot of crew as well. Oh, his waiting room's not directly connected to the bridge? It's reminiscent of the Enterprise D, but yet other, like the side consoles facing in again. Like it's kind of like several ship designs combined.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment.
The bridge.
I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
He's pejorative.
Well, what he
Dude, that's
lacks
the nose
in
thing.
humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
Why so
I've
eager?
been following your career for quite some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done.
You really do know a thing or two about me. I'm glad I could inspire you, but it's important to chart your own path.
Thanks. You can count on it.
And then, of course, you've already
Perhaps
met
one that
Commander
leads to our quarters later tonight.
Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
I feel like he's going to be pushing things more than he should to try to make up for the whole accident or whatever.
Operations, staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont. Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready.
Maybe it's because they made her kind of short, but that feels like that station is way too tall for her. That can't be a comfortable use.
So many decks.
Is it an Archer
Full
class?
of crew that are now my responsibility.
They have no problem telling you the name of the ship, but they won't say what class it is.
Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later. The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers.
Centaur
Can't wait to see what she can do.
Also, no, I recognized it from Star Trek Online, but I couldn't place the name of the ship or the class of the ship.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode.
Wait, they weren't already in maintenance mode during a refit?